Any human who possesses an iota of truthfulness in them should not worry about the dry mathematical calculations of life and death. Instead, they should weigh their deeds and conduct in the form of right or wrong, whether the behavior is similar to that of a gentleman or a wicked man. Book title: Saint Socrates. In the history of philosophy, there are a few figures that awaken as many interesting, helpful, varied, and baffling suggestions as does the quaint and inscrutable Athenian sage who used as freely to confess his own ignorance as he did his physical ugliness, and as relentlessly to expose the sham wisdom of others, as he did the sham beauty of face and form that concealed the ugly soul, who more than any other man possessed the sublime indifference to non-essentials which comes from a recognition of their relative worthlessness. And there is no philosopher more familiar to all men, Socrates Charles M. Bakewell. 400 years before the birth of Jesus Christ, a 70-year-old man stood in the court of Athens, Greece. He was accused of misleading the youth on the wrong path by preaching the opposite of the prevalent practice. He was also charged with disobeying the democratic orders, and this accused was none other than Socrates himself, the most ancient philosopher of the Western world. Glad to present a book that explores how truly remarkable Saint Socrates was, who is worth discovering, understanding what he stood for, and the lessons he taught us throughout his lifetime. Some excerpts from the book. In this world, one of the most surprising things is that the people whom we worship today and consider them to be great saints and blessed were at one point considered criminals of the highest order by the so-called wise and righteous humans, and were awarded severest of punishments. Otherwise, who would have thought that human saints like Socrates, Jesus, and Martin Luther were allegedly criminals or guilty of any crime? There is a very strange custom prevalent in the world. In case of a hypocrite, no matter how lowly they are, if they are theists, the whole world would consider them sane. On the contrary, if a person shares his heart out while strictly speaking whatever is truth and only truth, the world would waste no time in tagging them as an atheist, even if most of the people don't even understand the absolute difference between an atheist or theist. Socrates was also labeled as one such atheist, who always walked on the path of truthfulness. Howsoever unproductive that path was, even though this path couldn't even earn him his bread and butter, Socrates kept advising the curious towards the righteous path, without any expectation of any sort of aid or hope. The ideas and thoughts expressed by Socrates related to the soul, knowledge, and virtue, and by leading a life according to the practice he preached, are regarded of the highest order, especially when we know the era he was living in was primarily a dictatorship, with a zero possibility of reasons and spirituality. Important topics covered in the book are service and tolerance of Saint Socrates, ideals of Indian sages, the glory of self-sacrifice, accusation of atheism, and God's order is valid instead of man's order, etc.